In this video, Kevin and I are going to be talking about the TV shows and movies that we enjoyed during the month of March, that we enjoyed or are still enjoying with some of these. I usually go over the ones that I watch by myself first. I don't know what Kevin's watching by himself, so when I'm finished with mine, you haven't been watching anything? Okay, because I know you've recorded some things for you to watch later. There was some kind of sci-fi thing you were interested in.
No, I thought you were going to watch it with me.
No. There was something else you had already started, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, there was a cartoon.
That was it.
Yeah, I haven't finished it.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched any more.
Okay, I didn't know if you
Arcane or whatever. Yeah,
okay.
I haven't gotten back to it yet.
Okay, yeah, we have things lined up to watch, but so this is just what
I've been playing a game, so.
Yeah, he's been enjoying playing his game. By myself, I am probably 6 or 7 episodes into Yellow Jackets on Showtime. I heard someone on the radio mention Yellow Jackets, but then my sister also mentioned it. And the first 2 episodes, I didn't know if I was going to watch it or not. As a matter of fact, I told my sister, I said, I'm not going to watch any more of the show. I said, it's too graphic. It's just too bloody. And she said, yeah. She said, the first 2 episodes are. She said, but it's such a good story. She said, just keep watching. And I was like, I don't know. And she said, Tammy, she said, you watch American Horror Story. And I thought, well, that's true. And she's telling me that it's not so bad after that. So I'm on like the 6th or 7th episode of Yellow Jackets.
Must have got over it.
Well, what the deal is I'm working on my computer. And
so you're not watching the whole time.
Right. So it's on, I'm working on one monitor, it's on another monitor. So I am watching, but I'm glancing and listening. And so anytime something graphic comes on, I don't watch it. Right. I don't watch the graphic stuff.
Same thing with American Horror Story, by the way.
Exactly. I don't watch the gory stuff. Yeah, I don't watch the gory parts during American Horror Story because I don't want that taking up space in my mind. I don't need that. But this is about a high school soccer team, and they are on a airplane to go to a match, and the plane crashes, and so it goes from there. So that's what that's about, and it's on Showtime, I think I said. I have also been working my way through the mini series on A&E. It's called Secrets of Playboy. It's a documentary about Playboy. There are, I've always been interested in, like I watch all the Girls Next Door. I used to own Girls Next Door, the series. So like, I knew that Holly Madison was going to do interviews, and I knew that Bridget Marquardt was going to do interviews. But I didn't know when I started watching it what kind of a show it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like a light fluff piece of like
talking about
Playboy. It's not. A lot of the interviews and the things that they talk about are very disturbing. It talks about people that visited the mansion a lot. So you find out things about Hugh Hefner, you hear about like Bill Cosby, you hear about guests that were up at the mansion, and there's a lot of stuff that went on that you might have thought went on, but you hadn't heard confirmation. And this is that confirmation, and a lot of it is really hard to listen to. But I think for anybody enamored with Playboy or whatever, thinking that this was such a great lifestyle, whatever, I think this would be a good documentary to watch, because it's kind of like, it's a true look at what was really going on. Then I watched Great Expectations. I watched the 1946 version. Great Expectations is a Charles Dickens novel.
Sorry, I got a cough from my tickle.
That's okay. Do you need a drink?
All right.
It's a Charles Dickens novel, but I've never read the book, never seen any of the movies, and there are more modern versions. But I decided to watch the 1946, and it's a humble orphan boy in 1810's Kent is given the opportunity to go to London and become a gentleman with the help of an unknown benefactor.
It's funny because she asked me if it's streaming anywhere, if that show is streaming anywhere. And I looked on, there's a Just Watch is a website that I go to all the time. So I typed it in and it popped up and I said, oh yeah, it's streaming on wherever you watch it. I don't remember now. And so she went, yeah, so she went and looked at it and it's like, wait a minute, this is the wrong version.
It was the play, and it was the play.
No, I'm talking about the old one that you watched. You asked me to look for it you, and I found it, and it was the old version. You're like, oh, I was expecting the newer one that had somebody.
It had Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, and I said I didn't see that one anywhere.
No, we didn't see the Gwyneth Paltrow version available.
Not streaming for free.
No, for free. Yeah, I could rent it, but I didn't want to rent it. I wanted to just stream it for free.
And then I found another one
on Hulu, and it was the play that was in London.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not
funny.
what I want. But I ended up watching the old one, and I'm actually glad I did watch the old one because that was although I went back after I watched the old one. I went back and I read the Cliff Notes, and the movie's completely different than the book. So I still feel like I need to read the book. I need to read the actual book because I don't know why they changed the ending of the movie to. I don't know why they did that. It's kind of like Flowers in the Attic. They completely rewrote the end of Flowers in the Attic between the book and the movie. I have no idea why they would do such a thing, but they do.
I think it's more interesting.
I guess so. Then I watched by myself, I watched a show called Chloe, and it's about this girl named Becky is obsessed with this girl named Chloe and her Instagram account, her social media account. And so all of a sudden, Chloe dies. So Becky's like, she wants to know what happened. Why did this girl die? What happened? What is the story? And so it is a whole web of just stuff's going on. There's lots of characters and twists and turns, and it was really good though. And then the two, I mentioned this if you watched our Disney World vlogs. I told you the movie that I watched on the way to Walt Disney World in the plane. I watched Tomb Raider, the 2018 version of Tomb Raider, and with Lara Croft, and then she goes to the island where her father disappeared, and it's just a really good action movie. But then I never mentioned on the way home what I watched on the plane. On the way home, I watched Ford versus Ferrari, and it's 2019, and it has Matt Damon and Christian Bale, and basically Ford is wanting to build a car to beat Ferrari in this race, and it takes place, I want to say it's like 1966 or something like that, but it was a really, really good movie. So then I wanted Kevin to go over the two movies he watched. The movie you watched on the way was Shang-Chi.
It was a good movie. It was a good action movie. If you like the kind of kung fu action-y kind of movie, it was good. It was good. The effects were good. The acting was okay. Wasn't bad.
And then on the way home, you watched The Conjuring.
It was a weird movie. It's based on a true story. It was interesting. It's an older movie too. It's not anywhere new. It's fairly old. It was good. It wasn't anything really graphic in it. There was some like jump scare kind of things in it, which you kind of knew were coming anyway. So it really, if you watch any horror movies at all, you know when to expect them, and you knew.
Do you consider it a horror movie?
Yeah, because it does have kind of disturbing kind of things going on, and it was based on witchcraft and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of scary movie.
But you said it's based on a true story.
Yes, because it was all based on this guy basically killed somebody, and his whole defense, in reality, he killed somebody. The police found him; he killed him, but his whole defense was that he was possessed by a demon. He brought. This was really a court case, and that was his defense: is that he pleads not guilty because he was possessed by a demon. And so the story is a made-up version around that little nugget of a true story.
So after you watched that movie, did you go look? See, if I had watched
No,
that,
they told what happened.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, did he go to jail?
Yeah, oh yeah, he went
Okay, I
to,
was
they
gonna
found him
say.
guilty and he went to jail and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
aren't we? Anybody that kills somebody, I mean, you're.
Yeah, and beyond that, I don't know. I didn't look up details about the case or anything, but I do know he was found guilty. So.
Okay. At the very beginning of March, we had been watching, I told you last month in February, we had been watching The Amazing Race. Well, The Amazing Race ended at the beginning of March, and
It was good.
Kim and Penn Holderness are the ones that won. I have never in the history of The Amazing Race been so happy to see a husband and wife win this. I don't watch they have a YouTube channel. I don't watch their
They've
YouTube
been doing dance
channel.
around a lot and act crazy.
Yeah, they
Act
do
silly.
songs and stuff like that. I don't watch them. I've never watched them. But they were a delight to watch.
They were positive all the way through.
Throughout
they really
the whole thing. They were such a terrific couple to watch. You look at them and you think they have a good marriage. They really do. And it was, when they won, I just couldn't have been happier for anybody than them. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, I was glad they won too.
Yeah. We watched Call the Midwife, season 11. From start to finish. It was terrific.
It's typical.
The final episode ends with a big, something major happens, and so there's a lot going on in the final episode, and it was interesting.
But it's typical of Call the Midwife.
Yes.
I mean, it's all pretty much all positive.
It's a terrific show. It is a very uplifting,
yeah, it's not depressing
feel-good
or
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
We watched The Great Pottery Showdown season 5, and this time, how do you pronounce her name? Siobhan. It's spelled completely different than how you
She's
say
Irish, I think.
Siobhan is normally one of the female hosts on this Great Pottery Throwdown, and this was season 5. So she had broke her leg, and so they brought in this comedian, L. Taylor, I guess is how you, or Ellie Taylor. I liked her so much and got used to seeing her that I didn't want Siobhan to come back.
No.
I was kind of bummed out when
she came back for the last 3 episodes. It's
I
like,
don't
really,
think
why
she
even
should
bring her
have.
back?
I think they should have just kept her out for the entire season
Yeah.
and not brought her back because that comedian got to know these people, and then you're bringing this other woman back on.
And she's supposed to interact with the contestants the same way, and it's like, they don't know you.
Yeah, they don't know her, and
I think they did that just because she's kind of like tied to that show. That's what people were used to watching. Me personally, I like the other girl better.
I like the other woman better. I like the woman. I would like to see that other woman stay on.
Yeah, because Siobhan she's out there, and she's I don't know, she's not as funny.
Yeah. That other girl was just, I don't know, she was fun to watch. But the Great Pottery Throwdown, if you've never watched it before, it's another.
Kind of like Bake Off or any other competition where they're making things, but they're making pottery.
Yes, and they give them challenges. They tell them what they want to see from them at the end of so much time. And it is, you would not think that would be so riveting, but it is. It's wonderful to see them start with lumps of clay and
make beautiful sculptures sometimes.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's a neat show.
Then we finished The Apprentice UK season 16. I won't tell who won, just in case some of you, because it hasn't been that long that it ended at all. But the person that I thought, Kevin's like, okay, it's between these two people. Who do you think's going to win it? The person that I thought was going to win it won it, and I think that person totally deserved it.
Oh yeah, they had the best
absolutely play. Deserved it.
It was a good show. It's typical The Apprentice. I mean, it's not like The American Apprentice. So if you've watched The American Apprentice, this is nothing like that.
No, this is better. It's better.
It was.
But I looked up like secrets of The Apprentice and things like they're not allowed to have their phones the whole time, their personal cell phones, and they're only allowed like a 5-minute call a week or something like that to their people at home. They're not allowed to have any contact with anybody outside the house.
You wouldn't think it'd make any difference because it's not like the public's voting or anything like that. It's a a sealed process.
Absolutely no hanky panky going on in that house. They're really funny about that.
I can't imagine most of these people doing that anyway. Because they're so competitive against each other.
Some reality shows, though, you'll hear that they were just...
Oh, Big Brother was... Yeah, that was one of the worst ones. They almost always had hookups.
Like they do not allow that stuff going on the Apprentice UK. Then we're currently watching Survivor right now. And my favorite person on there so far, now it could change. You learn about people's personalities as time goes on. Marianne. I love Marianne. Kevin has said that Marianne probably would drive him crazy. She is the most bubbly, energetic. She's always happy.
She's always on.
But I don't think she's fake.
No, but she is always
happy and she's always energetic, but I do not see her as a fake person.
It's too much energy for me. I'd be worn out.
I think she's terrific. And she's the kind of person, I told Kevin, I think you would want out there. Somebody that's going to keep you pumped up and in a good mood.
Or annoyed.
Or she could annoy you. She could. And you know what?
Can you imagine that all day long? Every day.
Well,
drive me nuts.
I don't know.
No, it'd drive me crazy. She'd my vote first thing.
What was that they did for the first time ever? Oh, I know what it was. They were doing a competition, and it was out in the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
And the waves were just
really turbulent waves.
Oh my gosh! And they were supposed to get this ladder, this heavy ladder out from the water up
Prop
on the
it up
beach.
and get a key.
And one team
They never even got it propped up to get the key.
One team did it, but there were 2 other teams. They were divided into 3 teams.
Never did get it.
They couldn't do it. And I mean, it was to the point where like you were afraid someone was going to drown. So
they stopped it.
They stopped it and they brought them all up out of the water and they were like, you're going to start from this point and now you go on with the challenge. And that's the first time I've ever done something like that. But I'm still...
It wasn't safe.
I'm still... No, but...
If the water had been calm, it would have been fine.
It would have been fine. But it was so jumpy.
It was literally going above their heads when the swells would come in. But that's one guy, he just beast moded it through the whole thing. I mean, he literally did...
It was amazing.
He did the whole thing by himself, pretty much.
Yes. It was like watching Wolverine or somebody in the water. Yeah. I thought if I was that guy, I would have to have like a picture of myself doing
That's right.
Because I mean, he was just awesome.
Yeah.
He was just walked right through the water. Yeah. Is he your favorite?
Yeah, he's probably one of my
favorites.
favorites.
I like him too. Then we've watched Ozark so far.
Yeah, the first half.
Yeah.
Of the season.
They've released half the season. And the second part of the season, and this is the final season, like this is the end of the show.
It needed to end anyway.
Comes out.
It's needing to end.
April 29th is when it comes out. And so we will pick that back up then.
Like a lot of shows, it's ran its course. It's been good. It's time for it to end on a high note.
It has Jason Bateman and Laura Linney is her name. And then, I don't know what that blonde-haired girl's name is, but she's really good too. When I first started watching it, I tried to watch like the first
2 episodes.
And I thought, oh, this is not for me. This is going to be too dark.
Yeah, and it was kind of boring and slow too. But.
And then I guess sometimes you're just not in the mood for something. Yeah. So I went back later and I started watching again. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Then The Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max. So,
that is truly written for 20-year-olds. Goofy, crude.
This is the
humor.
goofiest family. And if you are easily offended,
oh, you can't watch it.
Don't watch it because this is like...
You wouldn't have watched the first season.
No,
either.
You wouldn't have made it through. This is like, it's like one of these mega churches, and I won't mention any. I was going to mention a mega church real quick. It's like any of these mega churches, but it is
stereotypical.
Like, yes.
What people say about the mega church.
Yes, and it is basically joking about that. Mm-hmm. So it's they're deviants, they're greedy, and they're crooked, and it's just a goofball.
Well, John Goodman's in it. He plays the dad. I truly think he believes what he believes. I mean, I
Right.
truly believe he's a Christian person. Now, that's not to mean he won't get down and dirty and be
On the
crude
show.
and
He's talking
rude.
about on the show.
Yeah, in the show. But the kids, I don't know if they believe any of it.
I don't think they believe
I think they're just in for the ride. They're just getting
along
the
for the ride.
money.
They're just taking that money.
But I truly think John Goodman's character truly believes it.
Right.
He just tends to fall back on his base
Yeah.
instincts too.
It's funny.
It's funny, but it's a crude, immature funny.
Yeah. Yeah, very immature funny, yes. But Ashley got us to watch it. And then we got Andrew started watching it. Andrew loved it. Andrew like binged the whole thing. Then we have started watching Vikings Valhalla on Netflix. If we watched Vikings, and so this is like the series that's after that.
Yeah, it's like 100 years later.
And it takes the place of, it follows the adventures of Leif Erikson, Freydis, and William the Conqueror. And so far, it's a good story. We've only watched, what, 3 or 4 episodes?
Like 3, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been good.
It of course, isn't as good
It's
so
not as good as the
far
first
as Vikings.
No,
because
it's not as good as the
nobody's
first
going to
one.
be,
I think the characters are good, but the stories is not as deep and well developed yet. Maybe
Right.
and maybe if they do more seasons, it'll get that way.
Right.
But if you think about it, the first season of just Vikings was kind of one story.
It was.
It was just about him trying to find England, really, and
Right.
and this one's kind of the same thing. It's like them doing a certain thing, and it's like, you know, it's good. I've enjoyed it though.
It's going to be hard to ever beat though Ragnar.
Yeah.
And
Even
Lagertha
that.
and,
And the first 2 or 3 seasons of that were better than the last few seasons.
Right.
However many there were.
Right. So then lastly, we watched 1883. So if you watch Yellowstone, 1883 is supposed to be
like their ancestors.
Yes. So like this is still supposed to be the Dutton family, but this goes way, way back. It follows the Dutton family on a journey west through the Great Plains toward the last uncolonized America. And so...
It's basically the story of how they got to Montana.
Right. So when you look the show up on Internet Movie Database, the first names that pop up, you get Sam Elliott, you get Tim McGraw, you get Faith Hill, then you get Isabel May. Isabel May should be the first name.
Yeah, she's the star of that show.
She is the star. She is absolutely terrific. She is what made me want to watch it. She's beautiful. And so we recognized her from Young Sheldon. She played, she was a teenager, and Jordy is Sheldon's brother. And Jordy, what is he, in high school? So she was... it's Jordy, isn't it?
I don't know.
Sheldon
George.
Or George.
Georgie.
Georgie.
Yeah, they call him Georgie. It's George.
Okay, Georgie. I said Jordy. George, yes. So she was Sheldon's brother's love interest. In high school. And so that's where we first saw Isabel May. And then she's on the show. And it's like every episode... she's just the highlight of the whole show, and you can't wait to see her come on the screen. And she's absolutely beautiful, and when she smiles, I mean, there's just nothing like it. And it was a terrific show. But everybody else, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill,
Sam Elliott. I can't think of who the other guy is, but he's pretty well known too.
That's fine that they're in it, but you're not watching it for them. I'm telling you right now, they do a good job, but that is not who you're watching the show for. You are watching it for her, and she's brilliant. Absolutely
I'm surprised.
brilliant.
I mean, she may have been nominated for something, but she should have been nominated for something.
If she wasn't, she should have been. We don't watch award shows or anything like that.
They don't mean anything to me.
No, but
she did such a good job.
She deserves, yes, absolutely deserves something. So if you watched Yellowstone... Kevin and I discussed it. We like this more. We like this more. And if you watch Yellowstone too, let me just say this. If you watch Yellowstone and you thought, because there's some nudity in it and it's really, really crude and all that, 1883 doesn't have that
No.
nudity.
I think they showed one butt in the entire show.
Yeah, so
I mean,
if
literally,
you
and it
wanna-
wasn't a sexualized butt. It was just a butt.
No. So if you, now they do cuss.
Yeah, they do cuss, and there's some blood, a little bit.
A little bit.
It's
but
not like people getting their heads cut off.
if
or
you
anything.
didn't want to watch Yellowstone because of all that crudeness, then you could at least watch 1883, and you don't have to have watched Yellowstone to watch 1883.
Not at all.
It's a completely standalone show.
Completely standalone, completely differently written. The whole story process is completely different because the Yellowstone is cutthroat, them doing anything they can to keep the ranch, that kind of stuff. This is more about literally them traveling across from Texas to Montana is where they end up at. It's just their travel. It's just them overcoming adversity to get where they're going.
Yeah, and the things that they have to deal with on the way.
It sounds kind of slow and boring, but it's not.
It's not.
Something's always happening.
It still isn't a show for kids.
No.
It still is an adult show. I wouldn't want you to think that
They're
it
on the
wasn't.
Oregon Trail, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, so it still is an adult show, but it is absolutely totally different than Yellowstone. So
I like it better.
would recommend.
I don't know. I mean, I guess now that they're there, the next season, you said it had been renewed for another season.
Yeah.
So it'll be about them building the ranch and building up
Right.
the start of what later became the Duttons
The
and
Duttons,
Yellowstone.
yeah.
So I guess that's what it'll be. So there'll probably still be some struggles because, I mean, they're literally starting from nothing.
Right. Oh, yeah. But if out of every single thing that we've watched this month, as far as movies or well, no, that's a TV show. Well, out of the TV shows that we watched, besides the feel-good shows like Call the Midwife that's good for the whole family, if you want a nice, an adult show, a couple show for you to watch, 1883 is so good.
It's very good.
It's a wonderful story. But that is it. That's all we watched this month. We are looking forward to, there's some things coming out like Better Call Saul. It hasn't been on in like years, has it?
Like 2 years.
Yeah, and what else is coming?
The other half of Ozark's coming soon.
Yes, I can't wait to watch that.
Billions, we're waiting. It's the final season of the Billions too. We're kind of waiting till they all come out before we. That's one of those shows where it's not desperate that we watch it. So we just kind of wait till they all come out and then we watch them kind of over a month or two.
Right.
I think of what else is coming out. The new Lord of the Rings, of course, that's 5 months away. But I'm looking forward to that. The TV show from Lord of the Rings. There's other things. I could get my phone out if I had it.
we have tons of stuff that
I've got a list on my phone.
wanting to watch then. And then my sister also has me watching Pieces of Her, but I haven't even made it through the whole first episode yet. So I'm like halfway through the first episode. That's one that's on Netflix. And because I've been trying to get through Yellow Jackets, and so there's only like, let's say 10 episodes of Yellow Jackets. Well, I'm already on like the 6th or 7th one, so I'm going to try to make it through that first, and then I'll pick Pieces of Her back up. But that's it. If you want to leave comments below and tell us what you've been watching, we always love to hear it. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to start watching it, but I always like to hear about good shows.
Well, one thing we are still watching is Taskmaster. We're still working our way through that too. It's still funny.
Little Alex Horn. Yes, we love Taskmaster. Horn. And the theme of the one we're watching, the season we're watching this time, is they're both wearing matching socks. So every episode they're wearing matching socks, and they don't say anything about it. But I've noticed because I like my fancy socks on men, and so they're doing that. But we've gotten Andrew and Christina into that.
Yeah, they've been watching them too.
Yes, they absolutely love it. So anyway, if you have any recommendations, you can put them below. I always enjoy reading them, and thanks for watching.